What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. We were here live yesterday. We are here live back today. We had an incredible interview with Rogue herself, Lenore Zan, yesterday, and now today we are back to talk some She-Hulk, finally break down Werewolf by Night, dive into some Andor, and I'm joined by my co-host, Garrett Blaney, as always, and some incredible special guests. Garrett, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, and I'm even better knowing that I get to talk about three super exciting projects with some of my favorite human beings on the earth. So I'm ready for a fun one.
We do have a fun one. We have some of the Agents of Fandom's finest, as well as our favorite Star Wars aficionado from Streamr News. And first off, I will introduce our Ticket to Reality co-host and finalist from Netflix's the season 2 of The Circle, Lee Swift. How you doing, my man?
Being with you guys, I'm doing great. Fantastic. And we get to talk about some stuff I love. So, yeah, let's go. I'm ready. Hurry.
Preach.
And so we knew you'd be catching up on She-Hulk, but you've been busy as hell lately, but you still managed to fit in Werewolf by Night for us. So I'm excited to talk to you about that as well. But we have our Agents of Fandom horror aficionado is a great word. I'm going to keep using it as many times as I can today.
Connoisseur, if you will.
Connoisseur, I will. I absolutely
yeah, that's
will.
fancier.
Jade, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to finally talk about Werewolf by Night with you guys, and then She-Hulk as well, because chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some truly, truly phenomenal content. But Garrett, we couldn't hold down the Star Wars ship by ourselves because Lee and Jade have not seen Andor because they are both just with the busiest of schedules right now. So kudos to them for keeping up with what they can. We had to bring in our Star Wars guy. He's our science guy. Rob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back to talk more Andor. I'm very, very excited for this. Very excited.
It's good to have you back, buddy.
Heck yeah.
We got a fun one, so we're going to dive right into it. First things first, some brief Marvel rumors. There's a few different sources putting out there that Harrison Ford may, in fact, be playing Thunderbolt Ross as a recast in Captain America 4 New World Order. These are just rumors at this point. We're not going to dive too deep into this because we have so much we want to talk about, but we'd be remiss if we didn't at least bring it up just to let people know that it's out there. So that's out there. If you're watching this on YouTube after our live show on Twitch, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We got a hype train going on Twitch, or at least we did. So make sure you fire some bits or gift a sub to a friend out there if you would be so kind. That's very appreciated. And you can find the Agents of Fandom on all the socials, Agents of Fandom, except for Twitter. It's at Agents Fandom. Let's get into it. First things first, we are going to talk Werewolf by Night. Garrett and I have given our brief thoughts. We both absolutely loved it, but it's time to talk spoilers. It's time to go in depth. Jade, from a Marvel fan perspective, from a horror connoisseur aficionado perspective, what was this like finally coming to the screen for you?
Yeah, like I wrote in the article, I was just so happy to finally have horror and Marvel come together and be in one world. I feel like if you took two genres of movies, horror and I guess superhero, if that is a genre, or action, put them together, that would make up me. So I was just beyond stoked to finally see this come to fruition, especially after the fact that it got announced and then it was never talked about until the month before at D23. So all I'll say before we get into spoilers is that I was just very, very happy with it as a horror fan first, for sure.
I loved it myself. And a little known fact, the first comic book I ever got was not Marvel, it was Dracula. and it was horror. I was like 10 years old. I was so in love with horror comics. I went around with my bathrobe on and pretended I was a vampire. My mother thought I needed counseling. So it was way up my horror loves of that little 10-year-old. So I'm excited to talk about it, Jade. I loved it.
Lee,
Me
I'm
too.
curious how often you still run around in your bathrobe pretending you're a vampire, because something tells me
Well,
it's happened recently.
well, before I turned the camera on, no. I love horror. I love vampires. I love the macabre. I just love it. I really do. And I love old school stuff, Vincent Price, all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, which I think, Jade, do you agree? It really played into that kind of that tone of the
Yes.
old kind of, the black and white and all that kind of, melodramatic moments. I loved it.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely encapsulates, I would say, like 30s to 50s horror, and then you add in like Psycho on top of it with all the black and white. And I think just from the start, I was in love with this because the narration at the very beginning is very reminiscent to my childhood. I also love the Twilight Zone, and I definitely got that from it. But when I was a kid at California Adventure, which is the second part of Disneyland, the Tower of Terror was my favorite ride. And the intro that you get when you're in the elevator watching, the preview to the ride, that just totally hit home for me. I thought it was done extremely well. I thought it was a great start to the special, and then just nailed it all the way through.
Absolutely, to me. I loved, the the one that the moment that I really loved, and I loved Gael Garcia Bernal,
Hmm.
because I was a fan of his. He was in a movie called Y tu mama tambien, which was brilliant. It was Spanish speaking, but he was incredible, and I fell in love with his talent then, and he delivered in as Jack, just wow. But my favorite moment was when Ulysses Bloodstone, they animated him, and he said,
Yes.
I love that part.
Like one of those old fortune teller, like robotic animatronic machines. I
Yeah.
loved that. And I loved the cheesy jokes, I will be rotting for you. That was just fantastic.
It
So
was
fantastic, I think. And I also, one thing that I really, really loved is how practical this special was. Like, yes, of course there's CGI, but a lot of it is just makeup and dudes running around in monster suits. So I absolutely love that. I'm a huge sucker for Godzilla and King Kong. So that is just, I thought making it more practical was just doing it a proper service. So
yeah. And
amazing.
I really hope Disney, because they delivered on this one. I hope we get more of this.
Right.
Just lots more of it. I like it. I like these characters. But even the 50-minute, bring us some.
Hmm.
It's about an hour, 50 minutes. Bring us more of that, and we'll let you know what we love and what you can expand those worlds on. That's what I think.
It's
Right.
been
And
reported throughout the industry lately that a lot of, as the future slates of the MCU get shifted. Wow, we are in a level 4 hype train on Twitch right now. Love to see the chat active. Thank you so much to everybody who's gifting subs. Rob's throwing some in there. He's saying, "Hey guys, how about you ask me a question? I'm gifting subs." So I'll throw it to him right away too. But I think we're going to see more of these special presentations as the slate shifts. A lot of the things we've seen previously announced as shows or rumored to be movies are going to shift into these special presentation type scenarios. Lee, as a man of many talents yourself, you aren't just a reality TV star. You are an author. You've written 60 plus novels. You're a filmmaker. Um, Michael Giacchino not only composed the score, but directed this film. And it was his debut film doing that. And it was incredible. He did such a good job. What is it like, kind of from a behind the camera perspective, to see somebody be able to handle all of these huge roles for a film?
I think he's amazing. I've read some of the behind the scenes stuff, and Gael in particular was talking about working with him was such a pleasure, and they would sit around waiting on scenes just talking about monsters and the backstories and like where Jack came from, and he was long lived and why he had the thinking that he is. He's such a lovable character for being a monster. So I think he was brilliant. I think we're going to see more of him. And like Jade pointed out, there was so much practical, which gave it a really cool tone to me. They could have CGI'd this whole thing a lot, but they chose to go very practical. And I love the performances. The actors, I think, because they were in a real costume and real, sets, and everything was, I think they delivered that just blew me away, actually. I mean, seriously, I'm getting out my bathrobe and I'm going around all night tonight as a vampire. I'm going to do it.
Bite me.
The last Ticket to Reality title, I don't even remember what it is off the top of my head, so you'll have to subscribe to Ticket to Reality.
Surviving Lee's Thong.
Podcast. There it is, Surviving Lee's Thong. I knew
How
it was
could you forget it?
Not safe for work, and we're leaning towards Lee's bathrobe being a potential title for this pod as well.
Which just lets you know everything you need to know about the episode.
So just so you know, a bathrobe can be a cape. It can be, for a superhero. It can be a cape for a vampire. It can be all kinds of things, I could have been Doctor Strange, come on. So
I've never seen you and Doctor Strange in the same room.
Rob was, it's true. Rob was nodding very approvingly at the cape bathrobe comment. So not only do I have something I'm going to throw his way after I get Jade's take on something here, but I also want to get his bathrobe opinions. Jade, Lee brought up the potential of the Monsterverse in the MCU. Mm-hmm. We're getting monsters now. And, Gael, this was only my second favorite role of his as Werewolf by Night. My number one will forever be Hector and Coco, as Coco is my favorite Pixar.
I know.
It's just incredible. It is just a masterpiece. But Jade, what is it? How exciting is it for you as a palate cleanser to all the Blade news, as a huge Blade fan yourself? How enjoyable is it to finally get monsters in the MCU? Not only Werewolf by Night, but we got Man-Thing and huge lore introduced as well.
Right. No, it's super exciting. And what's really made me more excited is how many horror fans, monster fans out there are enjoying this as well. Because I think sometimes you slap Marvel on a label and people write it off already, like, oh, it's not going to be that good, or it's not going to be scary, this, that, and the other. So I'm excited to see universally almost everyone enjoying this, and non-horror fans liking it too. Like, as a horror fan, a lot of people are turned off by it because it can be scary and it can be like really messes with your head a lot. So it's nice to see a big community coming together around a genre that I really love, and I'm always trying to get my friends into watching horror, but that's hard. So it's really nice to have everybody together and enjoying these monsters, these likable characters, the future of the Monsterverse and the MCU with Blade coming up in 2 years, but that's okay. We'll get there.
Hopefully.
But hopefully, right?
Hopefully 2 years, not hopefully we'll get there. We will get there.
No, but it's really nice to just see a big community coming together for it. That's my biggest takeaway.
Now, as I hype up throwing it to Rob, if he doesn't have a great answer for this, we're really just banking on his Andor knowledge, because we know that is second to none. So we're not too worried, even if this turns out to be a flop. Rob, one of my favorite characters from Werewolf by Night was the introduction of Elsa Bloodstone. Are you familiar with her comic lore? What did you think of the introduction, and where would you like to see her moving forward?
I loved her. Coming to the comics, I'm not that versed. A little bit of a flop there. I'm sorry. I know her in the Midnight
Save it with the
Suns, and
bathrobe. Save it with the
yeah,
bathrobe.
yeah. I know her in the Midnight Suns because I've read a little bit more of the team up issues more than like her individual adventures or miniseries she's had. I think that is the most obvious next place for her to show up. I've kind of brought up that I think if Werewolf by Night joins Midnight Suns and he's a once a month can turn into a werewolf guy, I think her Bloodstone will be that activator for him. So if they need to go out and do something, she can activate it. And I feel like her relationship with Jack will be like a Black Widow Hulk kind of relationship, where like
Yep.
she's the one who's got to keep him in wraps, in the protocol and stuff.
Moon's getting real high, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And bathrobes, want to say, when I was younger, I used to have a bathrobe with a hood on it, and I would take the hood part of it and throw the rest of the bathrobe behind my back and wear it here, and I'd act like I was Daredevil with his homemade suit,
Oh, nice.
and I'd try and fight, but I actually couldn't see anything. So
Were
That's
you naked?
awesome.
I wasn't naked. Are you implying I
Sometimes.
was?
We know you were, Lee. You don't have to
I
imply.
knew you were
That's
naked the
factual.
whole time. Yeah, that never once did it cross my mind that you weren't naked. So I
Wow.
skipped over that.
Rob, I feel your bathrobe love, and other bathrobe people watching, please comment that you're into the bathrobe. You could be Darth Vader. I mean, we could all sorts of.
Ones in the chat for bathrobes. Type ones
There
in the
you
chat
go.
for
There you go.
bathrobes.
There you go.
Can I just say something off of Rob's point about how this might be a potential Black Widow Hulk scenario?
Please
I was
do.
on TikTok, and I follow this really cool guy. Actually can't even think of his TikTok name. I'm sorry, man, but you're getting all the credit. He made a clip about two clips that resemble each other, and the first one was Hulk when Natasha and him are running out of, like, I think the ship or something in Avengers, the first Avengers, and he's smashing everything behind, or in front of him, and she's like in front running. And then the other clip was Elsa running in front of Man Thing, and he's kind of destroying all the trees around him when they're running out to escape. And so that totally rings true for me. So I would love to see that kind of team up, whether it's her and Man Thing or her and Werewolf by Night. I would love to see them all come together again. And then also a Rocket and Groot, Jack and Man Thing type relationship too.
I think it was a great point by Rob as well. Just that the point, like the way they showed the smell, the way they showed he could see who she was. I don't think that was just great storytelling for the show. I think that really sets it up very well for the future. Garrett, what did you think of Elsa? What was your biggest takeaway? Was it Michael Giacchino's directorial debut? Was it the new characters we got? Was it the amount of gore we got? And then if you did see Damon's Elsa Bloodstone breakdown in the chat, I was going to throw that to you to read as well. If not, I can get it after you here.
I did not see it, so I'm just going to go into my take on the show, which is that my favorite part is the stylization of it. I think kind of rewinding to talking about Michael Giacchino stepping into the director's chair, being able to completely marry your own vision with baking in the sound effects and the score beneath everything, you can kind of, I think, there's obviously a lot of collaboration when making any score anyways, but just being able to be the one-man team there, I think really shines through. The passion and the hard work is so palpable, and it's just fun. I want more of these like stylized different things. Like She-Hulk is just fun. It's not, we'll talk more about, obviously the finale later, but more different things, because while it doesn't affect me or necessarily any of us here, the criticisms about Marvel doing the same stuff over and over, like, it's somewhat understandable. So the shows like this, projects like this, really just tell those people to put their foot in their mouth and gives us more fun adventures. So that's my main takeaway.
I love it. And so from Damon, our comic book aficionado and connoisseur, he says Elsa is definitely a different take of her character from the comic. She's seasoned here, but lacks her classic red hair and guns, but still carries around living with her father's name and his legacy. She's just a badass monster hunter, and they're also calling the blood gem the Bloodstone. So he's very curious as to who she was training with if it wasn't her father, because she clearly had training. She was very confident in her training. I think in regards to the weapons, they did make a point of saying, like, you can't bring your own weapons here. It's only what is here. And so that kind of allowed us to focus on this is still Jack's story, and Elsa's a very big part of it, and not really get her full on reveal yet. We're still going to get a lot more Elsa stories going forward. And I think that's kind of the route that they wanted to take for it. Werewolf by Night was pretty fantastic. It's up on Disney Plus. Make sure you check that out. Also on Disney Plus is X-Men the Animated Series, and we just had our interview with Lenore Zan, aka Rogue, and you can catch that up on our YouTube page, youtubes.com/Agents of Fandom. And we're also going to be talking to the composers of X-Men 97 theme and the upcoming reboot next week on Monday. Agent Ryan Cortero and I are going to be interviewing them, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned to the feed for that. And I also interviewed the composers Sophia and Ian Huldquist of Rosalind, the Romeo and Juliet adaptation coming to Disney Plus tomorrow. And you can check out Agent Carlos's review up on agentsofandom.com for that one as well. Spoiler free before you decide if you want to check out the film or not. I loved it. You should do it. I also loved Andor. An episode, this latest episode we got, episode 6, I believe, is, in my opinion, the best one we have gotten yet. Rob, give the people a little bit of your Star Wars background and then tell me what you thought about episode 6.
Oh, my Star Wars background got raised on the prequels, grew up with the Clone Wars. I mean, and then after that, it just spread out to books, comics, video games, expanded universe, canon, all of it. This episode though, this episode shows me why I love Star Wars so much. Is because you're able to take these different kinds of stories and throw them anywhere in the universe, and it works most of the time. This episode was a freaking like a wartime, like military heist episode, and the more and more I see of this show, the more and more I want Tony Gilroy to just if you want something in Star Wars that involves any form of rebellion, Tony Gilroy, please handle it. You can do all the covert stuff. Best episode, I definitely agree. I mean, I know it's the name of the show and he's the star, but Diego Luna. Oh my gosh. Andor is now, and you know, I'm an Ahsoka guy. We're Ahsoka guys, okay? Andor's like top 5 character in Star Wars for me now because of this show. And I loved him after Rogue One, but I didn't have that much confidence in saying it. But with this show, and that's only being halfway, yes, I love it. And that's only being halfway through the first season of 2 planned. Andor might be like my second favorite. He's not going to pass Ahsoka. I can't do that. But it might be my second favorite by the end of the show.
Wow. I don't know if anybody can. Wow. It's going to be very difficult for anybody to enter my top 4, personally. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to crawl in there, but Ahsoka's by far the number 1, and then it's Sabine, Ezra, and Hera, and I don't know if anybody. The 5th spot I think is still up for grabs right now, but nobody's taken that top 4 anytime soon. Yeah. Garrett, this was the episode you were so excited for. I think Damon brought up a great point in chat, how it seems like they're sort of doing 3 episode arcs with Andor. They start a story in 1 episode and they resolve it 2 episodes later. We got the suicide run. We got the beautiful views. What did you think of episode 6?
Oh my god. Not only was it the best episode of the show, but in my opinion, it was the best episode of live action Star Wars that we have yet to get from any of the shows, which is wild that I'm even saying that because, as I've said a trillion times in past episodes, I was not pumped for the show when it was announced because I love Rogue One, but Cassian Andor was like my least favorite part of the movie. So I was like, a whole show about this dude? Man, I'm not stoked. And then the first trailer came out. I was like, all right, I'm bought in. I'll watch every week. And now I am sucked in. There was not a moment in that episode where I wasn't like clenching my butt cheeks because of the tension. It was expert tension building. I never knew, like, I
Were
knew
you wearing a bathrobe when you were clenching your butt cheeks?
there was protection. There's protection down there. I'm not gonna go into what it was, but you know, there was a barrier between me and my seat, so we were good. But but I knew there was doom and gloom coming for the crew, but I never knew when or where or how it was going to happen up until the very end of the episode. And during these massive set action pieces, we're still getting like this incredible character exposition. It's actually unreal to me how they're able to have this stuff unfold. And then shout out to, I think it was Jamie Drack who said this a couple weeks ago, but it's still wild to me that Obi-Wan Kenobi was like I can't watch this show, it's too woke. When this show continues to absolutely shit on the Imperial officers in every way. And it's incredible.
I couldn't agree more. And one of the things I love about when we break down Andor is it's not the same as when we talk She-Hulk. When we talk She-Hulk, we are picking apart every little piece. What does this mean? What does that mean? Oh, this is so cool. Oh, this Easter egg. Oh, everybody needs to get off the storytelling's back. They're telling a specific story and they're doing great. Blah, 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 blah. For Andor, we can kind of give these reviews, and that's sort of what they are. As opposed to breakdowns, they're more of reviews. I feel like we're not spoiling all that much, and it's hopefully convincing a few people to go and watch this show because it is absolutely incredible. Rob, we're professionals here. We can toe the line without giving too much away. What did you think of the crew dynamic that was built up over the last 2 episodes to get shot in multiple different directions? And then do you think, like, you played Jedi Fallen Order, correct?
Yes.
Do you think that was the same the same stim stabby thing that our little BD droid gives Cal Kestis when we need it?
Okay, answering that, I think it completely was, and I don't think that was. I think that was obviously completely on purpose because we have Jedi Survivor coming out next year, I believe. Or, yeah, and now they've been already kind of dropping in things here and there that kind of trickle back to Fallen Order and such. But the crew dynamic, I really loved, and we talked about this last time because it's very Rebel-esque with crews that don't get along, but they're all for the same goal, and that's how it started. And then things ended up the way that they did by the end. But
for me, we find out just how truly thin of a thread holds this crew together because at first you're like, the tension is obvious in the crew and like they bring Cassian in and they're like, come on, we're doing this like next week. We don't have time to like add this guy. And then you get the couple episodes of them working together, them practicing, them like, they're like, all right, we may not like each other, but like we're in this together. And then stuff starts to fall apart in the least expecting ways. You find out, someone's past that you previously didn't know, and that's a huge curveball. There's like a relationship that was kind of hinted at in past episodes, but was mostly hinted at in this episode that leaves a really heartfelt, emotional separation between two characters. a character we've all come to know and love, you know, has some hardships happen to him in the end. I'm trying very hard to toe the line here. It's incredibly hard, but let me shift this question back a little bit, because we've talked about the crew dynamic. It's the tension building in the crew dynamic is something that moves this episode along so well. But we have to talk about the eye. We have to talk about the visuals of the eye, and because when I tweeted, you know, the suicide run, which is what I personally have dubbed this heist. I tweeted a couple weeks ago, like, this is going to be peak Star Wars. When they explained the stars shooting overhead, like, I had a thought in my mind of what it was going to look like, how they're going to use the ship to escape under it, all this stuff. And it was so much more than I could have ever expected. It was like looking at the Aurora Borealis if it like shot into little tiny meteors and sprayed the sky. Lee and Jade, for people who haven't like watched this, does this make any sense to you?
No.
All I can tell you is it is definitely going on my must be watched list, because you guys have hyped it so well and gave me enough that I'm like, oh my gosh, why? How come I haven't been watching it? So thank you very much. So
yeah, it's like you don't want to root for these characters individually, really, because you're like, God, like aspects of them that I don't like necessarily, but you understand, because you know, we all know the history of like Star Wars and what happens. You understand like the greater goal that needs to be achieved. So it's just such a crazy dynamic, and I'm still just loving seeing this, like these citizens of the galaxy, these non-Force users, they haven't been to the Jedi Temple in Coruscant. You know, they're like alpaca farmers in Aldhani, and they're the grassroots, like they're the start of the rebellion, and that really is shown at the end of the episode when we finally see Stellan Skarsgård, whose character I'm blanking on right now, but he's like, he realizes like, yes, it happened, it's here, people are aware of this rebellion, and it's wild to me that this is the halfway point of the series. So we still have 6 more episodes, maybe 2 more arcs, and it's gonna be freaking crazy.
They have more to build back on, going back to Cassian's origin at the beginning. We want to know what Bix is up to. We want to know what's next for Stellan Skarsgård's character. So this is a very exciting show. And Garrett, it's kind of like you said, I think that episode
Luthen,
6, the visuals we got in episode 6 were some of the very best visuals you will ever see in any show, like on the small screen. Like, yes, there are some movie big budget stuff that's incredible, and not that Star Wars television has a small budget by any means, but relative to Star Wars film, it still does. But it was truly incredible.
It reminded me of like, honestly, I know we always go back to like Rebels is our favorite Star Wars property of all time out of anything, but like it really reminded me of all the hyperspace stuff and like the Purgils and that like really out there Star Wars stuff that you really have never seen in any other projects. This was that brought to life like as close as possible, and that's all I could think of the entire time. Was like, I'm watching an episode of Rebels but in live action, and with none of my favorite characters. But I don't even care that none of my favorite characters are there, because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing with these people.
You guys have excited me so much, because I am gonna, well, it's obviously, look at the face, how old I am. I saw the first Star Wars, or the fourth Star Wars, whatever you want to call it, in the movie theater when it first premiered. So the world of Star Wars, I mean, golly, you're reigniting that passion, because I'll admit something. I actually cried when the ship went over my head. I started crying. I was 15.
I don't know. I don't blame you, dude. It's still like, even to me, I can remember watching, you know, like the prequel trilogy, and then even the original trilogy back when I was a kid, and it was mind-boggling to me, like how this, like, wow, this could be happening somewhere in the galaxy. We have no idea, and I don't blame you at all, man.
But I thank Rob and you, Garrett and TJ, for kind of awakening that, because it's really been kind of dormant because I'm so busy and I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I only need to sleep an hour a night so I can get all this in? But thank you, Rob, especially you, but all you guys. It was awesome listening to this.
Success.
Yes. We brought another
turn it
one
to
in.
She-Hulk right away, but Rob, kind of take us out of here with wrap us up for Andor. What are you hoping to see out of these last 6 episodes now that we're at the midway point?
I'm hoping to see maybe a little bit more of a connection between a couple other maybe Rebel crews we haven't met yet. I would really like to see him link up with another crew. I wouldn't mind if the show was just him helping out Rebels here, dipping, going and helping out Rebels here. As long as they just carried just a really nice story and brought Andor closer and closer to what we knew him as in Rogue One, and get this full story of this character.
Luthen's just paying him to go around from sect to sect, helping them pull off missions. A different Kyber crystal as as partial payment each time.
And just a little cameo wish here. Doesn't even have to be the people. Let me see the ghost somewhere. Let me see the ghost somewhere.
Give me Chopper, just a little Chopper.
Yeah.
Just a couple beeps, and I will be happy.
I want to see him slap the shit out of somebody. His little crab claw hands.
Chopper's a great character. Star Wars Rebels. If you're a Star Wars fan, go out and watch some Rebels because it's some of the best content out there. So some other best content out there is the finale we just got from She-Hulk. We're at the midway point of Andor, but we just concluded She-Hulk, and it is arguably the best finale we've gotten from a Marvel Disney Plus show, any Disney Plus show to date. Garrett, I'm throwing it to you first, pal. What did you think of the show as a whole? Did the finale wrap it in a bow nicely for you? What did you think of the last episode?
I was stoked. So I usually wait till the morning of now to watch and get it done before I start my work day. But I actually waited up and watched it last night, and I was blown away. The first 10 minutes, I was like, what the heck is going on? How is this going to end? I have no idea. And then anything I could have guessed was not even going to be close to what the hell we got. We had chatted with Damon a bit on our primer beforehand that we wanted to have some crazy fourth wall breaking stuff happen. I believe we said we wanted her to like come out and chat with Kevin and have some beef with Kevin, and that's essentially what we got. For the longest time, I was on the edge of my seat, being like, are we going to see? Is Kevin going to show? Are we going to have Feige? Is he going to have the cap? Is he going to be here? Is Kevin going to show up in a project? Is this going to be like a new Stan Lee kind of thing where we have a Kevin cameo? But man, I could never have guessed what we actually got, and I'm so stoked. I don't want to go into crazy details yet before everybody gets their initial reactions out, but I'm thrilled with this. I'm thrilled with this finale, and ready to see where we're gonna go next. Ideally, a season 2.
Better.
Look, we're volume shooters with our theories, but we get buckets. Like it is what it is. We throw a lot of theories out there, but a lot of the ones we throw out come true. And it's funny you mentioned the Kevin hat because Jessica Gao was on Phase Zero earlier today. And she brought up how when she was pitching this to Kevin Feige, the biggest issue he gave her, and it's truly one of the it's a hilarious story, so go check out the most recent episode of Phase Zero. But the biggest trouble he gave her with this pitch was she wanted the robot to have a little ball cap on, and he said like, no, that's absurd, absolutely not. and
You're
she was
literally
saying,
just
like,
making fun of me.
she's breaking the fourth wall, crawling through Disney Plus, and it's a robot you, but the hat is where it doesn't make sense. And he's like, yeah, like I don't get it. Like, why would he have a hat? It's a robot. And so they eventually worked in a hat-like style robot head. But we guess some things right. We guess some things
Rare
totally
Feige
wrong.
L there.
Yeah, right. Like, and like I
Trust in
don't wanna
Feige
spoil,
no more. My faith has been broken.
I don't want to like ruin the rest of the story because Jessica Gaff told it so incredibly, and I want people to go check that out. But it was just, she tells it a lot better than I would have. Lee, what did you think about this series, and how did the finale wrap it up for you in all your years of watching television, helping create television, being on television? Have you ever seen a finale like this?
No, I was like Garrett. I was so I was so thrilled because I kind of binged it all. I mean, I watched the first episode right away and then got so busy, and then as this was coming up, I was like, okay, I got to get all these in. So but it was fun to binge. I mean, it was like, who cares?
It's like
about
binging The Office.
I mean, yeah, yeah. No, I thought the finale was absolutely perfection. Everything they did. I'm in love with all so many of the characters, and there better be a season 2. I'm coming for you, Disney. I'm coming for you.
I'll crawl through the Disney Plus app.
Yeah.
Make my way down there, damn it.
Exactly. No, I think it was brilliant. I really do. I mean, everything they did. I like the tone. I like that it's its own kind of space, and I love it. Love it. I loved all the cameos. Wong. I was just dying. So I mean, I loved it.
We dropped an article the night before the finale. Agent Carlos Freitas. It was called "What If the Big Bads and She-Hulk were the dude bros we met along the way," and there was lots of hints towards that, and it's true within the storyline. It's true outside of the storyline, even more so in real life, and it really rang true in these last 2 episodes. Jade, you're dealing with annoying dude bros left, right, and center, both in real life and online. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What did you think about the finale? Because so far we're all 9s and 10s out of 10s.
I mean, all I can do is echo what Garrett and Lee have already said. Like, it just completely exceeded all expectations, and I
Were you
think
about to get another Garrett meme scream?
Yeah, I was composing myself there. I can't do this 2 nights in a row. This can't. Give me a few days to process the first meme. Ruben did me pretty fucking dirty.
That was so great.
Respect to him, but I need some time to recover.
But no, as a whole, I think this show just truly is something special. It really exposes people's negativities and really bad sides of people. Sadly, I think it's just truly a new space for the MCU. Kind of like Lee said, it's just something so special on its own, and it's just I would say it's a sitcom, like it's a sitcom in the Marvel universe, and it's so special. And I think the finale, as much as I love Loki's finale with the introduction of Kang or He Who Remains and Jonathan Majors, this finale was, I think I would say it's the best finale. I think so. And then let's throw Jonathan Majors fighting She-Hulk, and then it'll just be the best of both worlds.
It would be the best of both worlds. We've all seen those Creed 3 photos of Jonathan Majors lately. He's ready to take down absolutely everyone, the entire Marvel universe.
I'm ready to risk it all for Kang.
Yeah, it's my wallpaper. Just zoomed in on the abs.
Jade's ready to help him form the sacred timeline at this point.
Yes.
Like, multiverse be damned. She's just doing whatever he says.
Yes, please. I will say thank you every time.
One
So
of the
will
things I
Lee. So
love.
will Lee. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Leave me
gay
out.
bros.
One of the things I loved about this episode is we talked about this last week, Garrett. I said we've heard that it's not like Daredevil will likely be back for the finale. They kind of marketed that it's probably going to be 2 episodes. But it doesn't really make sense to bring him back for the story because we don't want him to just be coming in saving her. And then Jen says the exact same thing to the writers as she's crawling through Disney Plus. She says, I don't need Bruce coming in to save me. I don't need this super soldier serum knockoff Hulk wannabe. That's way too convenient. This is my story. It's about me. And what I loved about that so much is the other thing we were talking about is what's the goal of this show? Yes, it is a legal comedy, and it was really funny. That was goal A. But other than Loki, what have we seen from all of these Disney Plus shows? In WandaVision, Wanda Maximoff turned into the Scarlet Witch. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson turned into Captain America. In Moon Knight, that was a little bit different because we were getting introduced to the character of Moon Knight, but Steven was also becoming Moon Knight, and they went from being 2 separate beings to Moon Knight by the end of the show. Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, went from Kamala Khan to Ms. Marvel, etc., etc., etc. And so the goal of this show was, at the beginning, she was Jennifer Walters, and by the end, she was She-Hulk. And she straight up reminded all of that to us is, yeah, I'm sure you want to see all of these people too, but too bad. This is how it's going to get resolved, and this is how it needs to get resolved. Rob, you had your bathrobe on. You were playing Daredevil. You couldn't see. You didn't have heightened senses quite like Matt Murdock did. How did it feel to get it back for the second episode, even if it was in wonky fashion? And how do you feel about Jen and Matt's chemistry? How do you feel about Matt and the Plaid?
I didn't expect him to come back at all. Like, I thought, like, when she said that it was just going to be like a little throwaway thing, but then he drops out of the sky. Like, the writers just wrote his name down, then he appeared in the show. And I love that because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that doesn't make sense. But it happened, and we have to go with it because this is She-Hulk, and she breaks the fourth wall, and things like that can happen. Fully did not expect Matt and the Plaid whatsoever. Like, I thought, like, it was a little hookup, like, oh, we're gonna have fun, we're lawyers, we're superheroes. No, like, this is, I'm hanging, I'm here, I'm having a good time, and I really, really like that because Daredevil is my boy. I wish I could pull down my Daredevil stuff right now, but it's way too high for me right now.
If I get down low enough here, I move my chair, you can see my Daredevil. It's right in front of Stormbreaker, right beside Iron Man there. But, you know, what this show, it hinted in this finale, it hinted about season 2. It hinted about a big screen appearance. It hinted about a Hulk movie coming in the future. All things to be answered, all questions that we have. But I think an answer that we know is, like, Jennifer Walters will appear in Daredevil Born Again. Like, I think that has to just be a must. We know that will come whenever a She-Hulk season 2 does, but I would bet that that's the next place we see her on screen is Daredevil Born Again, if we don't see her pop up somewhere beforehand. There was a couple other big reveals, but I want to poll first. What was the superior soundbite from the series? Is it episode 1? Captain America, fuck! Or is it episode 8? I don't remember what the specific clip is, but the smashing Matt Murdock. Which one takes the cake? Is it episode 1 or is it episode 8? I'll go in order of the screen. Jade, you first.
As much as I want to say the Matt Murdock bit, I think it has to go to the Captain America line because of how much I saw it on my Twitter timeline like 8 weeks ago now. That was just the meme and the quote that was taken up social media, and the discussions that everyone was having, like, finally I knew he wasn't a virgin and blah 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 blah. It has to go to that. It was just perfectly timed. And to come
I
out swinging in the pilot episode with that, yes.
I think both were very similarly comedically comparable, but the lore that the one opens up in episode 1, I think
Right.
takes the cake. Garrett, how about you? Which one is it for you?
I'm agreed. It's the Captain America one, and just the fact that she like coerces it out of him by pretending to be drunk so efficiently really heightens that for me. And I will add as a bonus that the best uh, non voice line moment is definitely She-Hulk twerking, getting it down with Meg the Stallion.
I can agree with that. And Chris
Lee, how
Evans
about
also
you?
responded to the Captain America line. So, I
True.
mean,
Oh, nice.
come on.
Nice.
Absolutely true. Lee, what about you?
I am in total agreement with Garrett and Jade. I think it was, especially being in the first episode, it just slapped me across the face, and I loved it and
Sets the
every
tone.
bit of it. Exactly, it set the tone. And then I want to say my favorite visual was when Daredevil was doing the walk of shame by the neighbor. That was my favorite. I was laughing and tears were coming down because it made me laugh so hard. I thought it was, he's carrying his boots.
Yeah, barefoot on the grass, humming.
I like to
I
call
loved
that
it.
the walk of pride for him.
Ooh, I like
because
that better.
Stride of Pride from Damon.
Yeah,
Like it.
because he got with She-Hulk
Yeah.
and Jen Walters. So, I mean, come on.
I bow to your
And
expertise,
Karen
Jade.
Page.
and
Are you
Green.
hinting at
Elektra.
a round 2 that maybe the show didn't didn't hint at us?
You never know.
Mhm.
Well, a
She was
round of each.
satisfied.
He
She was
was
satisfied.
staying for an extra week, as he revealed at the end there. Rob, you're our Daredevil guy here. Can you save us? Was the Smash and Daredevil comment, was that your favorite, or was it Captain America?
Smashing Daredevil.
Okay.
Because that's
Okay.
that's my version of saying in the MCU now, Matt Murdock fucks.
Gotcha.
And he does. We knew he did, but now we have the confirmation
The confirmation.
that he in fact does. Matt Murdock's always been one of the sluttiest comic book characters around, and that's not going to stop anytime soon, even though it's on Disney Plus. And Jen's family was giving him the gears at the family supper, but there was more revealed at the family supper, and I kind of like this panel kind of situation we have going on. So I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm just going to keep running it in a row. But because we've already been sitting here for an hour, I'm going to throw a few different parts of the finale at all of you, and I want to know what stuck out specifically. We got, of course, Scar, the son of Hulk. Maybe he looked a little funky. It would have been cool if he had long hair, but maybe that's just something he's not going to cut now that he's on Earth, and he'll grow into it. Who knows? We always, the characters we get long term are never who they're introduced as right off the bat. Plus,
And you remember how haircuts happened on Sakaar.
and I do remember how haircuts happened on Sakaar from Stan Lee, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And we did get the visual effects artists joke already moving on to another project in the time spent with Kevin as well. That's the other thing before I continue.
With the
on
Wakanda
Scar.
theme behind it, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was cool.
That was super cool.
So no, we'll touch on Scar and then we'll go back to the Kevin thing after, because there's so many moments from that we're going to have to touch on. So we got Scar, the son of Hulk. And the reason why this is so exciting for me is it opens up potential Planet Hulk storylines. And Planet Hulk is pretty darn cool. It's where Hulk has a whole family on another planet, then they end up getting bombed and he gets real angry. And the reason it's pretty cool is because for me, World War Hulk, what that leads up to is my favorite comic book arc of all time. Hulk is pissed as he can possibly get, and no one can take him down. That's what everyone is out here trying to do, and nobody can do it. We saw a small tease of the Abomination fighting with Hulk until Jen nixed it. And maybe we see that again in the Thunderbolts because Wong freed him after he took his accountability. And so now he's kind of free to roam and do whatever. And there's a lot of people speculating that the Thunderbolts film may in fact be World War Hulk. And that's is who they are going up against, who they're combating. So that would be pretty darn cool.
If that's the case, they're gonna need more people in that team.
Yeah.
But like that would be pretty damn cool. And I think that to me would make sense as to why there'd be some people on the team like Bucky and Yelena, you know? Like to me that's like those people aren't just gonna be like doing bad shit. Exactly.
I knew
doing bad shit. And so I think that would be pretty damn cool. So we got Scar. But then of course we have the conversation with Kevin as well with all the Easter eggs. Our first X-Men reference in the MCU with Tatiana Maslany giving the cutest little smile and thumbs up to the fans after she said it. Obviously, we have the Disney Plus screens up there. We have all the mentions of season 2 with Kevin. Jade, I'll start with you. What stood out the most for you in this finale? Like, what was your biggest WTF moment?
The WTF moment, it's got to be the Disney Plus screen. You know, that happened in WandaVision when the TV glitches in your I even then I was like, what the heck is going on with my TV? And then to bring it back in She-Hulk, to her literally breaking our fourth wall to climb through the panels and hop into the assembled, I think is just perfect. It's perfect for her as the character, as everybody knows now, of course should know now, that she breaks the fourth wall in the comics. Breaking the fourth wall literally on our TVs and hopping into the making of a Marvel show, movie was just perfect. I thought that was just spectacular, honestly.
And it led to a really cool cameo from writer Jessica Gao in that as well. And the funny thing is apparently that was somewhat of a payback from Kevin Feige, making sure she got in this as a sub when somebody wasn't able to make it as they were filming during the pandemic. To get back at all this Kevin fiasco, cap versus no cap stuff. And so that to Jessica, she didn't love it, but it was for us, it was pretty awesome. A nice little Easter egg. Garrett, what really stood out for you?
For me, it's got to be Kevin, Kevin, because I was truly expecting her to walk up into a room and have a chat with Kevin Feige. I thought maybe, you know, we were gonna have a talk about like leaks or something and like have a funny joke about like him sniping people. Like I thought that would have been really cool. But then, you know, we got this artificial robot with an acronym for a name, just truly in Marvel fashion, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. So it was a what the fuck moment, but I was so happy with the outcome.
Lee, how about you? I know you're a big X-Men fan. Was it the little plug of that one, or did something else really drop your jaw?
I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. She's brilliant. Jade, everything Jade said she said it so much better than I would. I thought it was incredible. So instead of saying that, I'm going to be selling bathrobes if anybody wants to buy any, just because she said it perfectly. So I am selling bathrobes, superhero capes, and vampires. So hit me up.
Love that.
I'll buy one.
I gotta respect that.
That's why we are doing everything we can to get Jade on here as much as possible. That's why Jade's going to be going live on the Agents of Fandom TikTok tomorrow night with Dana, who's been active in the Twitch chat, because she's so damn awesome at this. Yeah. She says everything better than all of us do. And she's only been doing it for like a month.
Really? Wow.
So Expect to see a lot more Jade because she is
I'll
incredible.
jump scare
Jade,
you in
have
real
you
horror
seen-
fashion.
Oh,
you're going to see Halloween Ends tomorrow, right? You haven't seen it yet?
Yes, and I'm going with my fellow agent Ash. She also lives in the Bay Area, and we've hung out once, so we are officially have an in real life meeting.
That was so exciting.
So
nice.
it was very exciting. So we'll be checking out Halloween Ends tomorrow. Tomorrow night we've got thoughts going in, so we'll see how it
CJ
turns
just
out.
got back and he entered the
Right.
chat and I said, CJ, what's good? And he answered, not Halloween Ends. So I know CJ is going to be putting up
yeah.
his thoughts on the Agents of Fandom TikTok, but maybe not a
Sending
written
prayers,
review
he
for that
says.
one.
Yeah.
He
Sending
says he is
prayers.
sending prayers.
That reminds me of when Ethan
Aw.
reviewed Jurassic World or Jurassic whatever the newest
Dominion.
one was, and he was
Mhm.
like, I texted TJ, was like, dude, I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this. He's just like chucking tomatoes at this movie, like via
Hey,
this
that's
article.
okay, though.
Oh
That's
yeah,
okay.
it was hilarious, and I still haven't seen it. Probably well deserved, but that just was very reminiscent of that for me. Hilarious. I miss Ethan. Ethan, if you're listening to this, we miss you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
I agree. Miss you, Ethan. I hope you're doing well, pal. Rob, last but not least, what was your biggest WTF moment? I want to know because I keep throwing it to you last after like everybody else has been going on for a long time. You're coming in cold. Like I don't want you to pull a hammy, so I just got to give you this nice build up to make sure you're warm. Hit me with it, Rob. What was the biggest WTF moment?
X-Men for me. Obviously you guys know, big Daredevil guy. When it comes to teams, Avengers, X-Men, yes, 100%. So I love having Jen be able to speak.
Bold take to
For the
just
fans?
the Avengers.
Yeah. I'll debate anybody on Twitter about that.
Thought we were just gonna roll right past that, but I actually had that.
How to
If we're
stop
talking
him?
a fight, oh hell yeah, the X-Men would
Yeah.
destroy them.
Yeah, but I love that Jen's able to speak for the fans because she's able to talk to the people through the screen. And the fact that she was like, "Where are the X-Men?" Like giving a little thumbs up to us, like, "I got you. I'm here. I'll ask for you guys while I'm here." Like I absolutely loved it. Loved it.
She is a fan. She's just like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
She loves Daredevil. She loves Captain America. She loves the X-Men. She loves Wong.
Jade, stop.
So-
You keep outshining us. Quit it.
Sorry. I'll be quiet.
DM
No,
us
I'm
the
just
good ideas when you think of them, and then let us bring them up naturally in conversation. Damn it!
I
I'll
have a
write
couple.
whole
I need
script for
article
you
ideas.
guys.
There
I have
you go.
article ideas.
There you go. Jeez, good article. No, write a
got you
script for
guys.
me. You could. I mean, seriously. Well said. Well said.
TJ,
For
welcome
me-
back. We didn't go off the rails without you.
I look away for one damn second.
And everyone
This
starts
happens every
yelling
time.
at me.
Don't make me bring out my
Alright.
teacher voice again. We are not gonna yell at Jade. She already has the dude bros doing that at her all day long. For me,
No,
the
I
biggest jaw
don't.
drop.
They're actually great. They're very nice. I will say. It's a joke though. Some are not nice, but
Did we not just collectively as a group block somebody today? Like,
oh, but that was online. That was
yeah,
on
that's what I
Twitter.
meant. That's what I meant. The online dude bros.
Well, he was getting at Damon, if anything. I just went in first to defend. I'm like, Damon, I'm gonna go fight really quick.
That's the
I
thing
got
about
it
the
second.
Agents of Fandom. If you rope one of us in, we got a pretty deep squad that's gonna come into.
All in.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, the highlight of the episode, not the highlight, but the biggest jaw drop, the biggest WTF moment was Scar. Because when Kevin brought up quick, oh, but we were going to reveal, and then Jen cut him off, that was my first instinct was Scar, and then I kind of forgot about it. I completely forgot as I was so set enjoying Flannel Matt Murdock and Jen Walters with her family, just absolutely peppering them with questions, that I forgot all about it. And so when Bruce walked in with his son, Scar, it got me just so excited for some Planet Hulk and some potential World War Hulk that was my biggest jaw-dropping moment. And I got the funk. I just picked up the Thor Ragnarok Funko just the other day, and this one's extra special because the costume was designed by our friend Anthony Francisco, who we've interviewed in the past, and hopefully we'll be setting up another interview with Ryan and Jade to talk to him shortly in the future. And another Funko here is our main girl Rogue, who we talked to yesterday on our YouTube, and you can find that up on the Agents of Fandom YouTube as well. We also got some incredible interviews and reviews up on the site right now, including She-Hulk related ones that Agent Carlos just fired out there. So make sure you check that out. If you're watching this later on video form, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Also, do us a favor and make sure you're following us on the podcast platforms. Hit us with that 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Music. Leave us a nice little review. It helps us so much because it allows their algorithms to pump us out further. Same with the YouTube like buttons and such. And it allows other people to find our content and help join this incredible community. Let's do a little roundup of everybody and then let's get out of here, because I was up at 4 a.m. driving my wife Ava to the airport and then watching She-Hulk immediately after. And so I'm starting to get a little, honestly, I'm not sleepy, but I know I'm going to crash really soon because I'm still all hyped up from talking about my favorite shows with my favorite people. Jade, where can the people find you on socials? What are you up to for the Agents of Fandom these days? And thank you so much for joining us. You've been incredible.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Thank you. Well, you can find me on TikTok at Jade Talks Movies, TOKS. I'm kind of taking a small hiatus, probably till Saturday, to post because I've just been busy with my first week of work at a new job. And then you can also find me on Twitter at Jade Rafalo. My Instagram's kind of irrelevant these days, so yeah, just give us a follow on TikTok too, Agents of Fandom. So you'll find me there along with my other agent buddies.
Awesome. Lee Swift, author. Tell us about some of these books. Tell us about some of your projects and where can the people find you on socials that I may or may not be helping you revamp and get out there starting in these next couple days.
I love when Jade said, "I'm going to be taking a break. I'll be on in the weekend." I'm thinking, "Oh, I take month breaks." so yeah. I need to get back on the socials for sure. Lee Swift, author, wherever you do your social media. That's I probably am on that platform, not doing anything, but check me out anyway. I am on TikTok, Jade, so I'll have to.
Oh, I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah. I haven't put anything out in a while, but there's a whole bunch of old stuff. Anyway, that's where you can find me, and also bathrobes.com. That will be going live here shortly, right after we. No, I'm just kidding. But
ding, great idea, and I gotta get it out now so I don't forget about it. You know how my ADHD works. Maybe that's where we'll start firing up some of our Ticket to Reality clips from our amazing interviews we've had with
bathrobes.com.
TikTok. I knew where he was.
Bathrobes.com, TikTok.
I knew where he was too, Lee. Come on. It was funny. I had to do it. Come on. Give me a little bit.
You don't have Jade timing, just so you know.
Oh, okay. I'm going to fuck myself.
On the Ticket to Reality podcast, you can find clips of our amazing interviews with our amazing guests from the Circle Netflix, as well as Tommy Bracco from Big Brother next week. And more than anything else, you get to hear more of Lee and Garrett going toe-to-toe, bickering with each other. It's all love, but they go pretty hard, and it's pretty darn funny. Rob, tell us about Streamr real quick. Where can the people find you on socials?
Yeah, so you can find my site Streamr at thestreamr.com. No E at the end, M straight to the R. You can find Streamr's Twitter at Streamr News on Twitter, and you can find my Twitter at Rob SourWineX. If you don't know how to spell it, just type in Rob SAU, and these guys follow me, so I should pop up.
That's pretty smart.
Garrett, did I forget anything?
No, just how handsome you are. You forgot to mention that, so I'm gonna say it for everyone for you.
Group of beautiful people here, especially our amazing producer Ruben, who makes this happen behind the scenes, working a 5-person show today. So we are so thankful for Ruben for making that happen and getting this all good to go for the podcast feeds tomorrow, where everyone is going to give us a 5-star rating and review. Let's get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back next week, still covering Andor, and we're going to have some fun games to be played. We are going to have next week's episode with Liam Crowley from comicbook.com. And then after Black Adam comes out next week, we're 1 week away, we're going to be reviewing that with Kofi Outlaw, host of Comic Book Nation, also from comicbook.com. So we're going to have a comic book collab, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of our amazing team. Peace.
Peace.
What a blast. Fun.